Hey everyone, it's Mike with It's Pittsfield Tonight. I am still at the Senior Center, and this time I am with Lawrence Klein. Lawrence is running for Pittsfield City Council at large this year. Lawrence, thanks for taking the time to do this today.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and thank you for doing this and all you do to promote Pittsfield.
Absolutely. I love doing the political stuff sometimes, but it is, I know what it's like to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
So to all the candidates that do it, it's not an easy thing. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
And I guess we'll start with the same question I ask everyone running is what made you decide to run for city council at large this year?
Well, as many of you know, my son Jacob Klein is running for school committee. And Jacob Klein, probably 3 years ago, before his injury, had said he wanted to run for a position. And he reached out to the clerk and found out he couldn't do it until he was 18. So earlier in this year, when he was 17, he's like, I'm running for school committee. But Dad, you got to do it with me. And I said, okay, whatever I can do to support you and your efforts, let's do it together. And let's have fun with it. And that's what inspired me. I always also like to give back and be part of the community. I'm on the board of a couple of nonprofits, and when I lived in New York City, started a nonprofit museum to give back. And I feel I want to be part of the community and do my best to make it a better place for all of us.
Okay, so public service is something that you've been involved with for quite some time then.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. There's so much negativity in the world. How can we make it better? And to me, maybe because I'm an outsider, I've been living up here now 20 years, but coming from New York City, and I see all the positive things that are here. Pittsfield has its challenges, as any place does, but I think there are so many more positive things happening here in the Berkshires and Pittsfield than people realize or take advantage of. I
would agree, and I say this all the time, but some of the most compassionate people anywhere I've ever been. I've lived in a lot of places, have been a lot of places, and Pittsfield is truly a caring, compassionate community.
Yes, absolutely. And a lot of great people that do a lot of interesting things and have a lot of interesting backgrounds like yourself. And it's a great melting pot, for a better word, for a dynamic community. Now,
are there any particular issues at the forefront that you feel you would be a strong voice for on that council?
Well, I think the two issues that when we've been out campaigning have come up all the time at the highest levels are the schools and taxes. The city council can't do as much with the schools, but maybe we can be a voice or just an ear to people who have,
And you're voting on the budget for the school.
Exactly. Taxes, there might be a better way to figure out how people are being taxed, because you can afford to buy a house, but all of a sudden the house price increases and the tax base goes up with that increase, and you may not be able to afford that then. So how do you better manage that? Again, that's a bigger question. A lot needs to go into it. But also, I think of the city councils should be better advocates for the city of Pittsfield, for promoting the good things. Again, going back to there's a lot of positivity here and a lot of things we're doing right. And I don't hear enough about that. But also dealing with the challenges in a holistic way and understanding the underlying causes, the root causes of what's happening, and how can we better improve that. And sometimes we'll succeed and sometimes we won't. But how do we learn from those mistakes?
Okay. I would agree with that. And, one of the issues, another interview I did recently was with a friend of mine, Dan Barber, who's running for town council in Clayton, North Carolina, which is pretty cool. But I was interested in doing that with Dan to hear some of the views and things they're going through there.
Right.
And housing and rising home values, rising taxes because of that is a big deal. But one of the things we're seeing here is an aging population. So Pittsfield's median age is not that far from 50. And that's a tough thing for seniors to be able to stay in those homes, especially if they lose a spouse or something like that. Would you agree that the housing and the available housing or housing stock and then keeping seniors in their homes is a big issue?
Yes, absolutely, especially when you put all the other costs rising for everything else, food and gas and whatnot, car prices. that all adds up. It's got to come from somewhere. So where do you get it from? Costs of, to pay for medication, pay for your mortgage or rent or food. It's all going up, and we have to figure out solutions that we can do here in Pittsfield. We can't solve it all. Some of those are bigger than what we can do here. But what can we do here, and how can we help?
I agree, because when you hear some people say, well, we need industry, we need this.
Right.
That would be great, but there's the average age in the community, and I just don't see that happening. I think more restaurants, more service industry type stuff. We definitely need more plumbers, electricians, carpenters, those things. But I don't think you're going to see a second coming of a GE type business.
And I think that's unrealistic. I think we shouldn't stop trying, but we shouldn't count on that. We should count on what we have, and how do we improve that? How do we support the businesses that we do have? And how do we encourage businesses that could come here and succeed and thrive, and give them the tools to thrive as well?
Absolutely. So for people who do want to learn more about your campaign, how they can help you, how they could host a sign or hold a sign on polling days, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
They can reach me through email, and it's kleinlawrence0@gmail.com. So KLEIN LAWRENCE 0@gmail.com.
The number 0.
The number 0.
Okay. And because I know we've talked before, and you're not a big social media guy.
No.
But you will be now, because that's where this will be.
Exactly. Hey, if I get elected, I'll have a bigger presence on social media.
Well, Lawrence, I can't thank you enough for your time today, and thank you for bringing Jacob up. That was a pleasure to interview him as well.
He's an awesome kid, and as a father, I have to say, vote for Jacob Klein.
Yeah, you must be incredibly proud of him, really.
We really are. Sarah and I just are over the moon with him and what he's doing, and how impressive he's been, whether it's at the debates or on the interviews. It's just incredible.
Absolutely.
It really warms our hearts.
Well, thank you so much again. I will do a follow-up with everybody, so I'll reach out to you after November 4th, and I look forward to talking to you then.
Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
Make sure you go to his GoFundMe page and make a donation. He does good work, and we should support it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Thanks again, Lawrence.
You got it.